We have Anisha Sahu, Khushi Bansal, and Mahima in favor of privatization, and Siddharth Jena and Masira in against privatization. So you have to keep in mind, जब हम privatization की बात करते हैं, we are talking about privatization of services. So not privatization as a whole. I will not be part of this debate. I will be just moderator. So entire conversation will happen between you participants, right? Okay. So since majority is in favor of privatization, so let's start with those who are in favor of privatization. So let's start with Anisha. You are ready? So when you will start, you will give a brief intro of yours about you, and maybe 5 or 10 seconds you can dedicate to that, and then you can come to your topic. I'll give some grace for that. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
So you can start now, please.
So may I start, sir?
Yes, please.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome all to all my worthy opponents. I am Anisha Sahu, and I am pursuing my BBA Law, BBA LLB degree from Symbiosis. So I would now commence with the topic at hand, privatization of services, and vehemently stand in favor of this topic. I would simply first start with what privatization is, then go on to then tell that why private services is good in its nature. Now, privatization of services is this concept wherein the government function, the transfer of government functions moves over to the private sector. Now, I would then quote a quote given by Henry David Thoreau that that government is best which governs the least. Now, privatization of services is a concept. It had earlier. We are not here talking about country specific stuff. So I wouldn't go as to why privatization of services would be good for a country like India, but I would surely state that it had its own history here, and this is very important to state how privatization of services helped our economy, which moved into a huge trade deficit, and this new economic policy of 1991 helped our economy to revive of what had already the trade deficit. We had seen a huge trade deficit. The whole balance of payment had been botched up, and this privatization in a concept had helped us to revive our economy. Now, because I'm talking about privatization, I would also state that privatization of services is very advantageous at both macro as well as microeconomic levels, and privatization always is better because while privatization of services, in privatization of services, the private companies which help in giving those services, they have always a better incentive than public companies. Now, the managers and officials working in these companies that provide these utilities have their skin in the game, thereby meaning their income depends on the performance that they give. Obviously, it means that the efficiency is now in a public company where which provides those services. There's always political interference. There are huge many authorities that they have to report to. This does not happen in greatly happen in private companies. They have long-term goals, and they are not restricted with the short-term goals of pleasing people or just making them happy for a short-term gain, like upping for votes. Now, the main concept as to why privatization of services is good, when there are many players in the market aiming for that one service to be provided to the consumer, there's obviously competition. Now, when there's a market and there's competition, the consumer is always benefited. So, the main point is they gain competitive efficiency, resource optimization, and when all of this happens, competition happens, and the consumer is in benefit, there's always tax revenues and the profits, and thereby that strengthens the public treasury. And I would also state that just 1 second, sir. While improving all of this, it reduces unit costs, curbs public spending, and always raises cash to reduce public debt. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, nice. So I have given almost 3.5 minutes to Anisha. So I'll be giving equally to everyone. We have one participant less, so we can use that time for everyone. Okay. So after Anisha, I'll go to Siddharth, who is against the motion. So Siddharth, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Okay, so you can start.
Hello, all. So I'm Siddharth here. So I'll be talking against the topic, that is privatization of services is not good. We all remember a story from class 9th social science, the issue in Bolivia, the crisis of privatizing the water services. It is a very basic story that we learned in class 9, but what implications it has, uh, leading to 5 years of long range crisis of democracy in Bolivia, clearly highlights the issues that privatization of services has. To start with, privatization of services, uh, the private bodies, actually, their main motive is profit making. They do not go into the social welfare of citizens as much as they go into the profit making. Considering that, there are several factors to it. So first of all, this profit-making motive leads to rise in prices, as we have seen in many cases, especially when we compare the water services in our railway stations. The drinking water provided by Bisleri versus the drinking water provided by the IRCTC entirely have a range of 20 rupees in whole. So what does this do? This creates a class in class. What do we mean by class in class? A class in class is where one class is excluded from the service because of the lack of resources for them to pay for it. This has been clearly highlighted by the great sociologist Karl Marx when he talks of the economical substructure versus economical superstructure in his book Das Kapital. When he talks about it, he clearly mentions it that the group that controls the economical substructure, it leads to differences in superstructure. Superstructure, I mean all those things that are related to the resources. For example, for private bodies to make higher profit, they have to exploit the resources to their max because they need higher output for minimum input, and that they can do by reducing the labors, reducing the workers, exploiting the resources, getting a higher consumer base. But how do they do that? They, compared to government, whose main motive is to provide services equally, to maintain equity. How do they do that? They reduce employment. They increase the inflationary tendencies in the economy. They lose the sight of environmental stewardship. These are only few of those, but expanding from economical perspective to social perspective, they do not take into account the diversity of a country like India. In country like India, where we have so many tribes, so many castes, so many groups, religions, languages, everyone is a minority here. So what do we mean by that? This has an impact on our democracy. How would you ask it has an impact on democracy? It is because, you see, I can give you an example of POSCO mining in Odisha. POSCO mining in Odisha, the Mayurbhanj area had already mining done by Coal India Limited. The tribals allowed it. Why? Because the tribals were getting employed, they were getting resources out of it. But when POSCO came in,
30 seconds to go.
Yes, sir. So what they did is they brought their own employees. It led to large-scale unemployment. And so it led to a lot of riots and protests. Coming to this, if private players are not, it is a loss for private players also, as they might not find adequate foreign investment. There might be monopolization of services. And also, in case of grievance redressal and complaint management, there will be a conflict of interest when it comes to private versus government. So while these are only few points, it clearly showcases how privatization of services may not be a good option for India. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So now we shall go to Khushi in favor of privatization of services.
Shall I begin?
Yes, please.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Khushi. I am a student of class 10. So the motion on the table is that privatization of services is a good thing. First of all, to define privatization in a bit more clarity, it refers to the transfer of decision-making authority or delivery from a public entity to a private entity. Now, these can happen directly by contracting out services to the private sector, or they can result indirectly from partnerships with private entities. However, it needs to be noted that there's a difference between privatization of services and instating a completely free market or going 100% capitalist. Now, I will be talking about the advantages of privatization in a country through the three main industries which have been privatized and which has proved to be very advantageous. These services are: 1, railway services; 2, electricity distribution services; and 3, water distribution services. Now, first of all, talking about the Indian Railway Services, which is a public sector entity, it has been incurring losses in the passenger service and freight fares, with a dip of more than 200 crores in passenger services and more than 3,000 crores in freight earnings in the last 2 years itself. Now, the services being provided by the Indian Railways have been severely inadequate, with more than 5 crore passengers a year going unaccommodated by the services. Now, the solution that the government has put forth recently is the privatization of 5% of the total railway operations done by the Indian Railway Services. A survey conducted by the Planning Commission of the government has shown that passengers are actually willing to pay a bit more if they're guaranteed better quality of travel and ease in access of services. Now, the decision, it is important to note, includes a regulatory body known as the Rail Development Authority, which will advise the government on how to A, promote competition so as to prevent monopolies; B, improve the efficiency and the economy of the country; and C, protect consumer interests from being exploited by these private companies. So the private companies, mind you, still adhere to the government. Privatization is not actually a full program for the unbundling of government agencies, but a government-led pilot initiative. Now, people are worried about the increase in prices when it comes to privatization. However, we must realize that there is still competition in the industry. The government will not lease out its private services to just one company. It will lease out the services to multiple companies, such as has happened in the telecommunication services in India in the past, to ensure that the competition maintains fair prices. Now, they cannot also increase the fares so much, as its government is only partially privatizing these services, not completely. Hence, they will still be available to people who are under the poverty line. Now, when we talk about unemployment under privatization, we must understand that the aim of private companies is to expand infrastructure, such as is happening in the railway industry. And expanding infrastructure would lead to more passengers, which would lead to more people being employed, more trains being run, which would actually lead to an increase in employment in the long run, as we've seen in our grade 8 economics as well. An increase in the country's development economy naturally leads to an increase in its employment levels.
30
Now,
seconds to go.
Talking about the electricity distribution in India, the government has recorded the highest commercial and technological loss of 21% in the last 2 years. Now, the government in Delhi, our government, has actually shifted to privatizing its electricity distribution since 2002, and they've brought down this loss from 21% to 9%. They've provided free electricity till up to 200 units to everybody, with 50% subsidies for up to 400 units. This has helped a lot of people, which can be seen in the reinstation of the government into power in the recent elections. Talking about water distribution, the privatization of water has actually helped a lot in multiple countries. If we ignore the case of Bolivia, there are 10 more cases where it has actually helped, including Manila, Colombia, and France. Now, in short, privatization services are actually providing better quality, safer services, and catering to more people with a very insignificant increase in tariffs. In short, privatization is actually immensely beneficial. Thank you.
Please. Yeah, thank you. Good lot of points in short time. Okay, now we shall go to Masira. I'm pronouncing your name right. This is the right way to Masira.
It's Masira.
Okay,
yes. Am I audible?
Please. Yes, you're audible. Please.
Can everyone hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Masira Khatri, and I am going to tell you how and why privatization is bad. So when I say that privatization is bad, I mean that, I want to give you an example. There is a country, an African country, Libya, which has one of the largest Mediterranean coastline, but that country faces water crisis. What I want to tell you is the water resource which this Libya as a country is lacking. It actually has the resource, but it is not in the form which it wants. Okay, in Libya, the people are facing water crisis when it comes to fresh water. Okay, so What I want to tell you is in Chennai 2019, when we were facing in Tamil Nadu, we were facing water crisis, and we used the process of desalination to to cope up with that problem. This same desalination process has been used in Libya, but this has led to the cost of the price of water, the cost of water, drinking water has been raised. And this what I want to tell you all is that the resource is there, but it is there for those who can afford it. What I want to tell you is that that this privatization, when we talk about privatization, there are good services which can be given to us, but it is not for all. It is directly against the principle of equality, which is mentioned under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. We are here to guarantee everybody. When we talk about equality, we talk about the basic necessities that the government has to provide to each and every citizen, irrespective, without any discrimination. Okay, irrespective of their financial status, whether the person is poor or it's rich. Let's take for example, if we assume that there is a healthcare, that in India the healthcare sector is privatized. So what can be the consequences? Let us assume the consequences, my friends, it can be catastrophic. The consequences can be catastrophic. How? Let me just tell you that, we are assuming, okay, all the health sector in India is privatized. A person, two people are suffering from same disease, but one is dying out of it just because that person can't afford the health services provide, which with it, he can't afford the health services, and that's why he's dying out of that particular disease, which is curable. On the other hand, the other is recovering and living a good life just because he can afford the services. In the same case, okay, now let us see, we have seen that this can be the case if the health services are privatized, because they are not accountable to anybody.
30 seconds to go.
They don't have this liability on them to provide health services. In case of USA, it has been seen that after the education sector has been privatized, there has been instances where university students have to do part-time jobs. The parents have to take loans in order to pay the fees of schools and universities. This is something that you need to know. This privatization actually led to the exploitation of poor. It is against the principle of equality, and it leads to the discrimination, which is also against the principle of, it is also against Article 15 of the Indian Constitution, which is there. Thank you.
Okay, so good point. It increases discrimination. ठीक है. So Mahima, over to you. You're ready?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
So, a very good evening, everyone. This is Mahima Yadav, and from Uttar Pradesh, and I'm pursuing BA program from Miranda House. And today I'll be speaking in favor of privatization. So, the shift from the public to the private management is so profound that it will produce a panoply of significant improvements, not only boosting the efficiency and the quality of the remaining government's activities, reducing the taxes, shrinking the size of the government. This will also, in turn, lead to the better economic conditions, as well as it will bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, which is very much evident in the Indian society itself. The profit seeking behavior of the new private sector's managers will undoubtedly lead to the cost cutting and greater attention to the consumer satisfaction. Apart from this, the government will also use this as a measure to raise the revenue. I would also like to highlight some economic aspects of this privatization. If we talk about the post independence period, during the Nehru and the Indira era, the Indian economy witnessed a tremendous decline in 1990s due to the industrial policy proposal, which imposed too many restrictions on the capitalist. After adopting the LPG model in 1991, the Indian government simplified its policies for industrialists and emphasized the privatization, because the privatization has many benefits. An entrepreneur will work for the profit, which will result in increase in the production in a short time. Special liabilities will be seen in labor as a result the competition will increase. Due to increase in production, things will be cheaper, and as a result of as a result of competition in new companies for new technologies to produce at lower cost, our technology will get better. It can be reduced by privatization in view of increase in physical deficit due to the public sector. If we take the example, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited, and Air India are seeing a deficit trend. Given that privatization is a better option to improve the physical deficit, due to higher production of private companies, our imports will reduce and export will increase. Consequently, our foreign exchange reserves will increase. Private companies can prove successful in competing with the foreign companies. As a result of privatization, the government will not only need to provide the protection to the Indian companies because the production will be in large quantities and at the lower cost. Unemployed youth growing in India will get employment opportunities, and the goal of skill development and local for local program will be achieved. This will be a significant There will be a significant improvement in the quality of services and the production. Therefore, we can say that to handle the
30
India's
seconds to go.
privatization is a better option which can bring a rapid growth in the Indian economy. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So now we shall move to next section. So next section में जो है question answer section है, everyone will be allowed to ask one question from opponent. Okay, so I'll start same cycle which we followed in first segment. The first would be Anisha, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I had a small doubt. Can I
Yeah,
ask?
please.
Sir, that 1 minute time about the opinion, is it supposed to be after the question?
No, first 1 minute you have to give your opinion on the opponents, and then your opponent may ask question. Out of you have two opponents, so out of those, anyone can ask you question. Okay, and then you have to answer, right?
So, may I present my opinion, sir?
Yes, please.
I'll use up this time to show as to how history unfortunately has shown shown that government services have been bureaucratic, extremely expensive, and mainly unresponsive to citizens' need. Education, when we look at education as a service, private and public, we all know there has been a huge difference, and how private has been playing a major role and has been always been better from the public service that has been provided in terms of education. Another example could be the banking sector, the telecom sector, and we could take the recent example of Jio and BSNL. I was checking the statistics. There has been a huge dip in the customer base when it goes for the customers of BSNL, and there has been about 90.9 million increase in the customers, making them the best in the service that they provide, the Jio. For now, that's the opinion I have. I would like to welcome any of the questions that any of my work might have.
Yes, so Siddharth and Masira, either of you can ask a question. Who will ask? Siddharth, okay. Let Siddharth ask.
Yeah, hi Anisha. So you mentioned that in terms of education, the private institutions are always better than government. Could you give a comparison between the IITs and any private institute that you have seen?
So we are talking about IITs and other private institutions now. Education is not just IIT and NIT. There's also primary education. There's also the foundation education. We are all losing track of it. There have been instances which shows why Kendriya Vidyalayas and let's say any other DPS for that matter have a difference between them. Why I have various examples to show why there have been my friends who just used to go give attendance and come back. There was no study that was being operated in Kendriya Vidyalaya. Whereas this was not the case in DPS. That's all. There's primary education. Yes, there's a point in what the question you have presented, but privatization of services, we are just starting. We haven't seen it all. Thank you.
In terms of Kendriya Vidyalayas, do you know the 30% of civil servants in India are from Kendriya Vidyalayas every year?
Siddharth, no counter. This is just to understand how you guys are responsive. So this section is just for that. Okay. So there is no need to prove any point here actually. Okay. So then now we shall move to second participant. Siddharth, you have to present.
So I'm not strongly against privatization, but there are few services that cannot be privatized. You know, when you talk of national security, you cannot compromise national security. And there are few services like communication, investigation, and features like media, where partial privatization is always preferred, but not complete privatization. Now, coming to the points of how they manage their services. You know, highly transparent, as my friend Masira had pointed out. You cannot do accountable and transparency, as can be seen in the Cambridge Analytica. We have seen this from private institutions also. The recent ICA. I'm audible.
No, we are not properly audible. Actually, yeah, it's better. Now you start again.
So we have seen scams by the Satyam Computers. We have seen the Cambridge Analytica is basically how they mismanipulated the public data. You know, and then coming to this corruption, there is corruption in private agencies. The recent ICICI scam by Mrs. Chanda Kochar. You see the HDFC scam. You see the Sahara scam. You know, they have been bribing the government to get the upper hand in services. So in every aspect, balance, but I would prefer some critical services to be always in the hands of government, like health, education, electricity, and so.
We lost you again.
Yeah.
You were talking about services like electricity.
I'm audible now?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Like the services like health, education, electricity, and some critical national security services. In terms of crisis, you see Air India doing the Vande Bharat mission. You know, Air India has been criticized for privatization.
So allowed to ask
yeah,
question.
I believe. I believe certain services need to be public.
Actually, we are missing your voice, but anyways, who would take the lead to ask question?
I have a question for sir.
Okay.
All right. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible. Siddharth, you can hear Khushi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. My question is more of a two-pronged approach. So you mentioned that banking services in India, after they've been privatized, they've shown a lot of corruption, and hence you prefer a more nationalized approach to banks. So my question to you is that A, are you of the opinion that there is no corruption within the government itself? And B, that considering that you're proposing nationalization of banks, are you saying that it is viable to wait in line for 2 days just to get a simple loan when you can't order it online because the government simply does not have the infrastructure and resources to run an efficient banking system? Is that what you're proposing?
No, actually, my point is not that the privatization is entirely the entire privatization is corrupt in banking sector. I just gave you a few examples to show that private sector is also corrupt. With also government sectors are also corrupt. There is no doubt in it. But my point, and coming to the point of online loan transaction, you would know recently, just 3 days back, SBI just started their SFRO loan available funding. You know, by just using their SBI YONO app, you can access loans up to 60 lakhs for your education for studying abroad. So there are coming to online, it is a different game altogether. But yes, private sector is also corrupt, and we can't government, as you all know, it's also corrupt. But yes, there should be a partial mix of both.
Okay, okay. So now we shall move to Khushi. Khushi, your turn.
All right, so just give me 1 second. Yeah, shall I start?
Yes, please.
All right, so starting with some important points, both the speakers talked about the Bolivian water crisis. However, sir, I would like to, sir and ma'am, I would like to bring your attention that even after the government seized control of the water distribution in Bolivia, 600,000 people still remained without piped water in the country. Public nationalization of the service in no way improved anything in the country. Secondly, for your one example of Bolivia, I have 5 other examples where water distribution actually worked. For example, Manila, Argentina, Colombia, France, and even UK. Now, talking about crises such as these, governments in recent decades have actually proposed a regulatory body to go along with privatization and public partnerships. These bodies prevent any party from becoming a monopoly by instating competition. They prevent any party from making profit in such a manner that the tariffs go beyond control, because at the end of the day, these companies are businesses. They have reasonable tariffs due to competition, due to government guidelines. Now, thirdly, talking about access to the for the poor people to the services, the governments are not relieved of their duties altogether for public welfare. They will still provide subsidies to the people, as can be seen in Delhi, with them providing subsidies to the people for electricity. And furthermore, the government is still accountable for the constitution. They are still responsible for providing fundamental rights to the people. The government is never going to 100% privatize education or healthcare, because it is their duty to make it affordable. However, that does not mean that privatization as a concept is a bad thing, because it can still be bought in the country. I would just like to conclude by saying, I would just like to conclude my statement by saying that privatization is getting us all the benefits that the government cannot get us, while the government is still accountable to the people in the country.
Okay, so I would allow opportunity. I give opportunity to Masira first. Masira, you have not asked question. You have something to counter, or else I'll go to Siddharth.
Sir, actually, I want to ask question. Can I ask question to Anisha, Miss Anisha?
You want to ask question from Anisha?
Yes.
Okay. Anisha, you want to take question?
Yes, sir. No problem.
Okay.
Okay, so my opponent Anisha talked about LPG reforms. She pointed out that
Masira, just a minute. So you keep your question. Let me first allow Siddharth to the opportunity to ask Khushi, because this is Khushi's turn. Then I'll allow you to ask Anisha. Okay.
I had a question with Mr. Siddharth, sir. Can I ask that?
Let's first Siddharth ask a question to Khushi.
Yes.
Siddharth, you have some counter to Khushi?
Yes, I have a 2-point counter. Yes, sir. Okay. I have a 2-point counter.
Okay.
I'm audible.
Okay. Yes.
Hi, Khushi. So you mentioned about the railways and the electricity. During the Latur drought, it was the public sector railways that provided 200 gallons of water 3 times a day for 2 months to the Latur area. Do you think that privatization of 150 railway stations and the trains like the Tejas Express would do that? And the second part is electricity. Recently, we have seen Adani Electricity charging customers 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs for their monthly bills during lockdown. What do you say about that? And also, Adani does not offer any subsidies to the slum people and the poor people, as you have mentioned in Delhi. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So Khushi?
Right, sir. So your question brings me to my point, which states that privatization in no way relieves the government of their very basic duties towards its citizens. So you talked about the drought. Now, privatization does not mean that the companies are entirely working on their own. Like I said, privatization can also happen with the presence of a contract between public and private entities. And in a lot of countries, even Argentina, when economic crises struck, the government has the power to wrest control from the private entities to their own power. However, it has been seen that in day-to-day activities where there is no outlying events such as an economic crisis or a drought, the private entities have shown significantly better technological resources and efficiency in their working. And he talked about electricity companies, not all electricity companies subsidizing their services. Granted, not all private companies will subsidize their services. That's a very common knowledge. But however, the companies that the government is leasing out their jobs to, they will have contracts with these companies which ensure public welfare, simply if not from the goodness of their hearts, from the fact that they want votes in the next election, sir. That is why the AAP government has actually subsidized electricity in relation with Tata and a lot of other companies in Delhi. And I hope that answers your question.
Okay. So let me go to Masira. Masira, I'm allowing you a question from Siddharth, I think. right?
Anisha, I want to ask a question.
Acha, Anisha. Okay.
Okay, so my opponent Anisha talked about the LPG reforms, and she pointed out that how government fiscal deficit was increasing in, after 1990, in 1991, when we brought about the LPG reforms. I would like to ask you that when government wants to privatize the sector, any sector, the private players are very well aware of the fact that government is selling off their assets just because of the fact that just because they the government wants money. Okay, the government is selling the asset. When we talk about asset, we are actually talking about something which is valuable to the government. Asset itself means a valuable thing. Okay, a selling off of a valuable thing in at times of crisis, the private players can, don't you think that they can take advantage of this situation of the government, and that it can give that these private players an edge over the government, and this situation where the government is actually in the needs of fund, this can be taken as an advantage, and the private players here can harm the government. It can be a condition where the government is less benefiting less, just because that, but because they are aware of the government situation. You talked about the fiscal deficit. I have another question, but can you please answer this first?
So Masira, can I take this thing as your viewpoint in this section?
Yes, sir. This is my viewpoint. She talked about LPG reforms. Na, I'm just talking. I'm just putting a view.
Okay. So please, Anisha, you may respond, and at the same time you can counter. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Masira, for your question. Now, privatization had to happen, and we have this example wherein the economy had gone to drains and we could salvage it. Now, when we sell that asset, we do get back something. We have to give in to get back something. So when we give that, there have been tax benefits, the treasury gets strengthened, and moreover, I had pointed out the concept of competition. So wherein all these private players come into play and we allow these private players, they compete to provide that one service to the customers, thereby decreasing the price. Second, there's a concept of CSR, corporate social responsibility. When these private players have been on a rise, they have to, according to the turnover they give, they have to do something good for the society. That is corporate social responsibility. And I hope I could answer your question.
Okay, Mahima, you have any counters for Siddharth or Masira? Mahima, you have any counter for Siddharth and Masira? You want to ask something?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. So now, Masira, you are done with this round.
Actually, I want to say something. So my friend Anisha pointed out that she talked about competition. I would like to know, Anisha, that you might have heard about Reliance Jio, and you are even Khushi, my friend Khushi, talked about telecommunication, the privatization of telecommunication, and they both have talked about the competition. Can you just tell me, any of you can tell me, when we talk about Reliance Jio, it is actually, we can see clearly there is a clear monopoly that is establishing, that the Reliance, this Jio is establishing. And let me just tell you one more thing. Okay, prior to a few, I can say a year back, we have seen that 149 rupees plan, it has its validity for 28 days, and now this Jio has reduced it to 24 days. They also talked about, my opponents, they talked about reducing in price and good competition, but this is not in case of all sectors. As I've mentioned, the Reliance Jio.
Okay, so yeah, so got your point. Anisha or Siddharth, just 30 seconds to respond this. Then I'll go to Mahima for this section. So she will be the last speaker.
Since she mentioned my argument, am I allowed?
Sorry?
Am I allowed?
Okay, 30 seconds only 30 seconds.
All right. You talked about Reliance having a monopoly over the country, or certain companies having a monopoly. So Reliance has achieved a monopoly through a lot of corrupt means. Now, democracy itself has a lot of corruption going on inside it. However, we do not condemn it as a concept. As a concept, it has time and again shown to be very efficient through a majority of cases. Same is the case with privatization. It may have failed us in one or two cases, but in majority of the cases, it has proved to be very beneficial for the general public. So my answer to you is that as a concept, privatization has shown to be an amazing opportunity for the development of the nation.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Can I say?
No, Masira, no, Masira, please. So we are done with this round. You asked someone else also a question. Anisha, you had to respond.
I wanted to respond to Miss Masira. Just
Yes.
10 seconds. We are enjoying the cheapest benefit, cheapest data benefit, I think, in the entire world. Who do we get the benefit to? Thank you.
Okay,
That's what
okay. So privatization gives the benefit in the form of competition ultimately to customers.
Friend, you talked about competition. There is no competition.
Okay, so no justification, please.
Cutting edge competition, cutting edge.
Yes. So let's go to Mahima. Mahima, you have to make your viewpoint, and then maybe Siddharth and Masira can ask a question. Okay, any one of them can ask a question. Okay. So Mahima, your turn.
So this growth of privatization has not, of course, gone uncontested. Critics of the widespread privatization contend that the private ownership does not necessarily translate into improved efficiency. But my stand is that, however, a private firm is interested in making a profit, and so it is more likely to cut costs and be efficient. Since privatization, companies such as BT and British Airways have shown degrees of improved efficiency and the higher profitability. I would like to add one more point, that there is a lack of political interference. It is argued that the government makes a poor economic managers. They are motivated by the political pressures rather than a sound economic in a business sense. For example, a state enterprise may employ a surplus workers, which is inefficient. The government may be reluctant to get rid of the workers because of the negative publicity involved in the job losses. Therefore, a state-owned enterprise often employ too many workers, which increase the inefficiency. Thank you.
So I want to ask a question to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's his name? What's her name?
Still Mahima.
So Miss Mahima, I have a question for you. You talked about the services. You guys, my opponents are continuously talking about multinational companies. These multinational companies, we as developing country, we have millions of middle class people who can't afford these fares that they are talking about. When we talk about the airlines, these multinational airlines and all that stuff, there are percentage, there's a less percentage of people in India. There is a very less percentage of people who can afford this. What about
so basically Masira wants to say that when we privatize, affordability can be an issue. Affordability of services can be an issue.
What happens is, we as a developing
So
nation,
Mahima, you want to respond?
People in the middle class section, okay, we have to look out for the majority. When we talk about majority of the people are not getting.
Yes, she got your point. Let her respond. Okay. Yes. Let her respond.
So she mentioned the unaffordability.
Exactly.
As a major problem for the privatization. So I would like to make a point here that yes, in some cases you can face unaffordability, but if we see, even the middle class is now dependent on the private firms for getting the services, be it like in the field of education or health services. Again, this this unaffordability or the profit seeking motive of the private firm can turn into a boon, because they continuously work on cost cutting and improving the efficiency of the services, which in turn will lead to rise in the standards of in the living standards of the people, and also will improve the socio-economic conditions of the poor and marginalized sections.
Okay. So
there are positive and negative.
Okay.
At the end of the discussion, sir,
can I? Why cannot be one see, I don't have to be part of this, but I'm just saying कि ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि privatization हम कर दें health sector का, and government should reimburse the cost to those who cannot afford.
Yes.
It's kind of subsidy or
So
something.
how is government going to, just I want to ask you, how are these beneficiaries? How this government? How can
So
we?
I'm not going to reply. Okay.
Can I give a two-line answer?
Beneficiaries needs to be identified, my sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sira, can I give a two-line answer to you on your question?
ठीक है,
Sorry.
then I have to move to last
So,
section
Mahima,
actually.
it's my turn. I have question, Mahima, and it's my turn to respond. I think.
Yeah, before
my
you
turn.
respond, you can
No,
ask.
Mahima responded to your question actually. In this section, you cannot ask questions. So there, see, beyond one question, we shall not take on record anything actually. So I just enjoyed your conversation. That's why I was allowing.
So can I say anything?
Comment to Miss Masira, just 2 lines, and I'll.
Okay,
Okay,
2 lines.
sure.
Okay, 2 lines. Then Mashira will also say 2 lines. Okay.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, chalo. ठीक है, okay.
In affordability of that privatization will lead to. I just like to give you 2 stats. So after the privatization of water in Colombia, 500,000 more people, which were actually part of the poorest income quintile, gained access to piped water. And even in Delhi, even in India, 14 lakh people have actually gained access to zero electricity bill after the privatization of electricity by Aam Aadmi Party. So affordability has anything but increased.
Okay. So can I?
Just 2 lines.
you
Simply 2
know,
lines.
Sir,
No, I'm not taking on. I'm not taking these on
At the
record.
end of
Okay.
the discussion, we can
Okay.
say that, at some point, all of my opponents have agreed on this point that somewhere the privatization, even Khushi, even Miss Mahima said that, that prices are increased. She said, if all of you have pointed out, she said that privatization led to the increase of prices. Okay. Even Miss Khushi
Masira.
said that there are some sectors where corruption happens. They themselves are agreeing on the fact that the point that they are suggesting, that the point that
So there is no justification. Now we are moving to the
there
last section.
weren't
Okay.
things
And
like
I'll
that.
call Anisha. Anisha.
Synchronization.
Yes, Anisha, you have to conclude your debate actually. Okay.
Thank you, sir. And I'll just say corruption is everywhere. The government has corruption. Trust me, India has corruption. Now, I will give a closing statement and through an elaboration. Indian Express did a series of 10 stories in the year 2007 in which they evaluated the performance of privatized firms. Now, interestingly, every single one of these were doing much better in the private hands than they were in public sector. Now we have Balco and UTI's Axis Bank that's been doing well. We have BSNL, PSU showing us examples of how privatization is all the more good and why privatization of service is the way to the future. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. Siddharth. Siddharth.
So I would. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. I'm audible.
Yes, please.
So I would like to conclude by saying that, especially in telecom sector, when Ms. Anisha said that we are getting the cheapest rate, I'd like to say that this cheapest rate has cost India in Asian crisis a huge amount of 430 billion USD. Just go to net and search the Asia crisis, you'll get the answer. Secondly, when we talk of privatization, yes, definitely some sectors are necessarily to privatize. But when it comes to critical sectors, and I only talk of today, in 2019, 2020, and not going back to 2007 or 1999 or something like that. UK Railways, it was earlier privatized, but seeing the negative effects of UK Railways after being privatized, it has now again come back to public sector. So definitely, there is a hit and trial method that is going on, but especially for India, you need to cater for the marginalized people. And for that, public sector plays a huge role. So yes, definitely, I would go for public sector in case of private sector any day.
Okay, good. And now Khushi.
To conclude, today a lot of issues of privatization have been brought up, such as the Bolivian crisis and the ICICI Bank scandal. However, both opponents have claimed that these have occurred due to the basic corruption present in the private sector. As Ms. Anisha has also mentioned, this is not just local to the private sectors. This is actually more prevalent in the very government sectors themselves for the past 70 years. However, in contrast, private sectors provide us with more efficient services, and studies by the World Bank and the Trust of India have actually shown that there is no net significant increase in the tariffs in the long term firm because there is competition in the market and these people have other industries to compete with. Furthermore, the very technology that private sector brings into the nation leads to the advancement of the nation, which we all know from basic economic theory, leads to more employment in the country, leads to better incomes in the country. To conclude with, someone once said privatization is a bitter pill, but it is a pill that will cure. And I strongly stand in the favor of privatization so long as the government maintains its basic responsibilities in the country towards the welfare of our citizens. Thank you very much.
Good, good. Masira? Masira?
Yes, sir.
Yes, your concluding point?
Yes, sir. So actually, all I want to say is that when these service providers, the basic service providers that I talk about, the healthcare and education and all, when these services are owned by private sectors, which sole, they have their sole aim is profit making. There is no liability and there is no accountability on their side. Okay. What I would just like to conclude that all my opponents talked about, they didn't talk about the basic services which are necessary. I just want to say that what are we going to do if you don't have good health, if you don't have basic education? What are these NMCs in the country will do? Are they going to keep employees which are lacking the basic education? Because when we talk about education and health sector, if it's not affordable, how are we going to develop the human resource, the actual resource, the true wealth of a nation? In order to develop these resource, we need affordability. And when they talk about corruption, there is Lokpal, there is Lokyuktas that can keep a check on government officials and government doing corruption. But what about the private officials? Where are you going to whom are you going to approach? And
So
also they didn't talk about the right to equality. We have in the article, in the part 4 of the Indian Constitution, there are directives mentioned explicitly, जिसमें
Okay,
हमको ये
please
बताया
wind
गया
up.
है government जब policy form करे तो कैसे करे. There is no mention of privatization over there. There is
ठीक
no
है.
mention of it. The
ठीक है.
government has to take the stance irrespective of everything.
Okay, Masira. Now going to Mahima. Mahima, your conclusion?
Yeah. So I would like to conclude by saying that yes, there are problems in both the sectors, like in private sector and the public sector. But if we look at the if we see the benefits of the private sector, it is lot more as comparison to the public sector. Private sector not only caters with the problem of efficiency, it also improves our human resource. It also bridges the gap between the rich and the poor, and apart from that, it helps us to it also helps in the overall development of the of our society and our economy. So this is all I want to say.
Okay. So ठीक है. So we are closing with Mahima, and एक और debate करवा लें क्या? Same topic पे. So actually it was really good to listen all of you. Or you all are full of ideas. You all are full of ideas actually. Okay. And
Thank you very much.
I'll wind up this debate, but for all these words, with all these words, I would like to conclude, wind up debate. It was really nice speaking with you all. ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा लगा, and I would like कि वापस से आप लोग को जो है कहीं मैं दूसरी debate में attend करूँ, ठीक है?
Thank you. Good
okay.
night.